Hello YouTube, Fuzz here, welcome back to Final Fantasy IX Excalibur II playthrough. And today we're going to be taking on our next boss here in Memoria, which is Maliris. And it's not a particularly challenging boss because it only really does single target attacks, so we can just phoenix down people as they die. But we do need to steal a couple of items from it, so that can make the battle drag on a little bit longer than we would normally like. One thing the guide suggests is that if you get your party into critical status at this point, then you can use Steiner's charge ability if he has the Coral Sword equipped. And that's certainly a valid tactic, but I don't think it's necessary really for this first fight, though we will be using it on the subsequent encounters after it. So for now I'm happy to use the safe travel mode and not encounter any random fights. One thing we do want to do is loot the tower, a weapon for Sedan, which we're going to go ahead and equip on him immediately. And we should also make sure that he has the Rebirth Ring and has Auto, Life and Bandit abilities equipped. And we're also going to sort out our other characters for now as well. So Steiner, unless he's using charge of course, is going to want to use the Defender, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that he has that, though I think he has it equipped already. Yes, he does. He'll also want the cross helm, so he has that on already as well, but just double check that that is the case. So there's going to be some other abilities that we want to sort out as well. Incidentally, Freya should have the Holy Lance and the Mythical Helm equipped, but again, she really should already have those. In terms of other abilities then, you're going to want to turn off Man-Eater, Bird Killer and Insomniac on everybody that has those equipped, and turn on Devil Killer, and if anybody has it, Body Temp as well, since that's going to guard against the heat attack that the next boss is going to inflict upon us. It turns out in my case only Amaranth is able to actually equip that Body Temp ability. So the next boss fight is kind of just thrust upon us. For a moment you might even mistake it for a random enemy encounter. But it quickly becomes apparent that it's not, of course, when we start getting some in-battle dialogue. Here it is. So the trick then for this fight is to just hit it with your physical attacks. And with its single target damage attacks, you should be able to just keep people resurrected with Phoenix Downs and plow on with the battle. Now the trick though is actually being able to steal the items that we need to steal. Now the most important item is the Genji armor. In Atomis's guide it actually says do not end this battle until you have stolen the Genji armor in all capital letters, so obviously it's something we definitely need to do. Though he also has the Ultima Sword, and well, you know, it's an Ultima Sword, how can a sword go by that name and me not want to steal it? And also, if we do steal it, then Steiner can be using it afterwards anyway. So it's not obligatory, but I do recommend you try and get it if possible. So as you just saw there, we managed to steal that Genji armor fairly quickly. In all honesty, I think the second steal round we was able to get it. And yes, I could just plow on now with those physical attacks and end this battle sooner rather than later. But in all honesty, I do, as I say, want that Ultima Sword. So hopefully it's not going to take too much time to get that, but knowing my luck, it probably will. So the Ultima Sword is the very rare steal on this boss. And incidentally, we need to be careful, because this boss, at the end of the fight, once we've managed to deplete its health, does an ability known as Raining Swords, which has a chance of pretty much one-shotting the entire party, which means we need to either have Sedan not be killed throughout the fight, so his auto life remains active. As you can see right now, that's not going to be the case in this instance. Or we need to time a jump with Freya so that Freya's in the air when the boss dies and you know, finishes off with that ability. Either way, this fight itself isn't that challenging. It is just about going through maintenance mode, making sure that everybody stays alive while you persevere through the thievery, the steal attempts in order to get the Ultima Sword. But that's really up to you. If you don't think it's worth the extra time needed to do that, then just make sure you get the Genji armor at the very least. But ideally we wanted to really be able to complete this fight within 2 minutes or less. And as you can see, we're losing a lot of time here. But rather than reset, I am just going to try and make that time up afterwards. So we'll see how we get on at the very end of the episode with how our time compares to the target time for this episode, which is 20 minutes and 30 seconds. So it is quite a bit of time. With high speed mode, we're going to be doing a lot of running, you see, back and forth throughout Memoria as we do the Nero Brothers side quest. So hopefully, if we stick fast mode on for that, we'll be able to make up our time that we're losing against this particular fight. At least that's the working theory right now. I mean, we are so far ahead of schedule anyway, that I'm not too concerned about this fight taking a little longer than we otherwise would prefer. One thing that I do think we are going to need to do after this fight is we go and visit the Nero Brothers a few times. Ah, there's the Ultima Sword, fantastic. So now we can start attacking this guy. So what was I saying? Now, one thing we are going to want to do is just top up on a little detour with some Phoenix Downs, since we have gone through quite a few in this encounter, and it's very possible we're going to need even more as we go through the rest of this dungeon. So now that we've managed to go ahead and steal from this guy, I'm going to just lay on the attacks, and I was a little bit too soon with the jumping there with Freya. We do need to get a few hits in before he's going to go down, so maybe 2 or even 3 rounds of attacks, and then we'll get Freya jumping in order to get the finishing blow, since we can't rely on auto life now, since it's already obviously activated on Zidane. Zidane's tower there doing a nice amount of damage, it seems. As you can see, still misjudged that. Another couple of attacks, it seems, would be needed. I'm just going to risk jumping in the air here. We are going to need to resurrect Freya. This is where things get a little bit annoying with this fight, since he doesn't help the situation by killing the one person you don't want to be killed. But a fairly liberal use of battle assist here is going to go a long way in just refilling our ATB bars. And when Amaranth misses, that doesn't help either. Fortunately, Amaranth does have body attempt ability equipped, so the mustard bomb isn't going to affect him. He can continue laying on the damage. If he would actually start missing, would be helpful. And you see, I've actually timed that spear perfectly. But because Amaranth missed, Freya's ended up laying on the killer blow. But for some reason, and this is where it gets interesting, Freya takes no damage from the Raining Sword ability and is able to persevere through to the end. I'm not sure what that's about. It goes against what Thomas seems to say in his walkthrough. But we managed to survive and come through the other side relatively unscathed. So quite probably the longest of our encounters that we've faced so far in the game, mainly because of trying to steal that Ultima Sword. We're going to give that Ultima Sword immediately to Steiner there. And just make sure that our party is Phoenix downed. Keep them in critical health status though, because we are going to be using Steiner's charge ability in an upcoming battle, well, a few upcoming battles actually. And we are going to have to at some point just get Freya into critical health before that as well. Now, in the Thomas's guide, you are required just to head over to the right here because there's a secret save point. But that's so that you don't encounter any other enemy encounters. We can actually trigger the next part of the Nero Brothers side quest without doing that. So with safe travel on, I'm just going to head over there now. Just turn off the fast travel here. Sometimes it can be a hindrance. And it doesn't really matter what party members you select at this point, because we are going to be coming backwards and forwards a few times. I'll tell you when it does matter. But for the sake of consistency, I'm just going to keep my party as they were, and also as they are going to need to stay eventually, as we do progress more through this dungeon. And as before, the quickest way to get back to Limblum is literally just to fly off the north part of the map and appear down the south here. And then we're just going to be following the same route that we took previously. So we're not going to be landing on the airship dock, but just to the side of the city. And then we're going to run through to the theatre district, into the hideout, and trigger the next cutscene with the Nero brothers. Okay then, so with that done, we're going to make our way back to Memoria, and we're going to use the save crystal that's present at the start of the dungeon. So what I'm going to do then after this is just finish off the episode at this point, because we still haven't finished this section, which I should mention actually is D4-02. But the next part of this session is going to be taken up by travelling backwards and forwards a few times, triggering more of the Nero brother events. So it probably could be a good idea just to break things off at this point, so that I can get have a bit of a break and whatnot. And I'm sure you may need to as well. So I'm gonna, as I say, take Sedan back, and we'll go ahead and save at the entrance at the coloured orb. But thanks for stopping by today, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you have, don't forget to leave a like. That does support me. Post a comment as well, just letting me know how you're getting on with this particular playthrough in your own game, and also what your times are. I'll show you my time at the end of the next session, since that'll be the end of the section that we're covering. But that's it for me for today, guys, so I'll see you soon for more Final Fantasy IX. Goodbye.